general, the electrical portion of a kitchen renovation project typically ranges from 10% to 20% of the total cost. However, it is important to understand that the specific percentage can fluctuate based on several key factors. These factors include, firstly, the size of the kitchen itself. A larger kitchen will naturally require more extensive wiring, more outlets, and potentially more lighting fixtures, which will drive up the electrical costs. Secondly, the complexity of the electrical work is a significant determinant. If the renovation involves relocating major appliances, adding new circuits, or installing specialized lighting systems, the electrical work will be more intricate and thus more expensive. Thirdly, the choice of materials and fixtures plays a role. High-end appliances, designer lighting, and premium wiring materials will increase the overall cost of the electrical component. For a kitchen renovation project with a total estimated cost of $40,000, a reasonable estimate for the electrical work would fall between $4,000 and $8,000. This translates to approximately 10% to 20% of the total project cost. It's crucial to note that this estimate should encompass all aspects of the electrical work, including the cost of materials such as wiring, outlets, switches, and lighting fixtures. It should also cover the labor costs associated with hiring a qualified electrician to perform the installation and any necessary upgrades to the electrical system. Furthermore, the estimate should factor in the cost of any required permits and inspections to ensure that the electrical work complies with local building codes and safety regulations. To obtain a more precise estimate, it is recommended to consult with a licensed and experienced electrician who can assess the specific requirements of the kitchen renovation project. The electrician can provide a detailed quote based on the scope of work, the materials needed, and the labor involved. Additionally, it is advisable to obtain multiple quotes from different electricians to compare prices and ensure that you are getting a fair and competitive rate. When evaluating electrical quotes, it is important to consider not only the price but also the electrician's qualifications, experience, and reputation. A reputable electrician will be licensed, insured, and have a proven track record of completing similar projects successfully. They should also be able to provide references from previous clients and be willing to answer any questions you may have about the electrical work. In addition to the factors mentioned earlier, there are other considerations that can influence the electrical cost of a kitchen renovation. These include the age of the existing electrical system, the presence of any electrical hazards, and the need for any upgrades to the electrical panel or wiring. If the existing electrical system is outdated or in poor condition, it may be necessary to replace it entirely, which can add to the overall cost. Similarly, if there are any electrical hazards, such as exposed wires or faulty outlets, they will need to be addressed before the renovation can proceed. Finally, if the existing electrical panel is not adequate to handle the increased electrical load of the new appliances and fixtures, it may need to be upgraded. When planning a kitchen renovation, it is essential to allocate a sufficient budget for the electrical work to ensure that it is done safely and correctly. Cutting corners on electrical work can lead to serious consequences, such as electrical fires, shocks, and other hazards. It is always best to hire a qualified electrician and use high-quality materials to ensure that the electrical system is reliable and up to code. In summary, the electrical portion of a kitchen renovation project typically ranges from 10% to 20% of the total cost. However, the specific percentage can vary depending on factors such as the size of the kitchen, the complexity of the electrical work, and the materials and fixtures used. To obtain a more precise estimate, consult with a licensed electrician and obtain multiple quotes. Allocate a sufficient budget for the electrical work and prioritize safety and quality over cost.